Today's video is actually going to be about reasons why you failed the NCLEX and things you can do to improve your chances to pass it next time. So if you want to know what these things are, then please stay tuned for the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the video. Thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Mercy. I'm a BSN RN, and on this channel I talk about nursing, lifestyle, beauty, feminine hygiene. I do a little bit of vlogging, and I just do a little bit of everything. So if you would like to join my family, I encourage you to please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit the bell notification button so you will never miss another video from me again. With that being said, let's get into today's video. I actually came from doing a visit, so I had my stethoscope on and I forgot to take them off while I was doing the video, so that's why I have them on. I'm actually going to take them off. I don't feel like wearing them the whole time. Okay guys, so the topic I'm going to be talking about today is a topic that I actually get a lot of messages, email messages and direct messages from you guys about. So a lot of you guys have gone through the headache of nursing school, whether it's BSN or ADN or LPN. You went through the whole process, you took the state boards and you weren't successful. Whether it's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, for some reason you just weren't successful. So that's what this video is going to be about. I get a lot of questions about this and I just want to finally address it. I think I've made a video about this topic before, but just in case you haven't seen that video, this one will be helpful as well. I'm going to be telling you guys some very important reasons why you keep failing the NCLEX and things you can do to improve your chances to pass on your next try. First, I'm going to tell you the most common reasons why you're not passing your NCLEX. And this goes for people who haven't taken it yet and people who have taken it and weren't successful. Also new and old nursing students. This information is going to apply to each and every one of you guys. So I encourage you to really watch this video and watch it till the end so you don't miss anything important. The number one most common reasons why people are not successful on the NCLEX, and the NCLEX, for those of you who don't know, is the state board. So I'm going to say it interchangeably. I'm going to say NCLEX or state boards. So anyways, one of the most common reasons why people don't pass the state boards is because when you go to study for the state boards, you study for too long. Let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of times when people complete nursing school, they apply to take the NCLEX and they give themselves a very, very short window. So some people would apply and say, I'm going to test in 2 weeks. So they study for 2 weeks. And where they go wrong is for 2 weeks, 7 days a week, sometimes 8-9 hours per day, and just study. That is the wrong way to do it. Your brain is going to crash. You might be able to make it through those 8 hours of studying, but you're not going to retain anything after a certain amount of hours. You want to study less hours, but make those hours count. So whether it means you're going to the library or you're kicking everybody out of your house to study, or just going to your bedroom and locking yourself in there, you want to do that. Those are important things to do, but just make sure you're not overdoing it. Nobody can study for 8 hours straight and think that they're going to learn or retain anything. The best thing to do in that scenario is to study for 3 to 4 hours a day. And don't give yourself a short window. I would say 3 weeks to a month is a good time to give yourself enough time to be able to study. And within those 3 weeks to a month, I would say 3 to 4 hours a day. Make sure you eat a good breakfast or lunch or dinner. Make sure you're full. Make sure you're dressed comfortably. And make sure your phone is off. Even if it's not switched off, make sure you're not getting all kinds of alert from your social media or your friends or your group chats or anything like that. Make sure your phone is on silent or vibrate so that you can study. 3 to 4 hours is a good amount of time to retain anything you need to retain. When you go past that, that is when you start to run into trouble, because then you're just memorizing things and reading things and thinking that you're going to remember it, but you're not going to remember it, because there's a good chance if you study for 8 to 9 to 10 hours, when you go home and try to quiz yourself on those same things, you're not going to remember anything, and then you're going to get frustrated thinking that the stuff is too hard, but in fact you're the one hindering your own success. So the best way to do that, even if you're studying for the NCLEX or studying for a nursing exam, give yourself 3 to 4 hours a day to study. And problem number 2, This one probably should have been problem number 1, but I'll leave it as number 2. The second most common reason why people don't pass the NCLEX is because they take too long to take the NCLEX. Let me explain to you what that means. So when you go through nursing school for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever the program is that you went through, some people say that, oh, nursing school was so stressful, I didn't get to hang out with my friends a lot, I missed a lot of things in my life, and now I just want to catch up, and then after I catch up with everything, then I'll be nice and ready and relaxed, then I can finally go and take my NCLEX. Wrong. You are going to flunk your NCLEX. Not always, but 99.9% of the time, if you wait more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to take your NCLEX, you're not going to be successful. Here's the reason why. Think about it this way. When you were in high school or even when you were in college, during those times, your mind is fresh. Your mind and your brain are used to soaking up information and learning at a fast pace. Your mind is already used to the pressure and everything like that. So even if you're taking tests back to back to back, you're fine. But think about it. When you go on a Christmas break or a spring break or something like that, when you come back, how do you feel? Don't you feel like you don't know anything at all? You feel like you haven't been in school for years and years and years. So it's the same concept. You don't want to wait too long when you get out of nursing school, because at that point, your mind is fresh, you still have all this information in your head, and the best thing to do is to study at that point for your NCLEX. Go and take it and get it out of the way. That way you'll be nice and relaxed, and then you can take your vacation or plan your wedding or visit all your friends or start dating a new person or do anything you plan on doing. But make sure it is after you have taken your NCLEX. I mean, just face it. I always say going to nursing school is kind of like a sacrifice. So if you're going for your ADN, for example, you want to sacrifice those 2 to 3 years, go through the whole program, take your NCLEX, and then take a breath. But if you're going to go through the whole program and then rest before you take your test, that is one of the biggest reasons why people don't pass the NCLEX. The third reason why people don't pass the NCLEX is because they either overestimate or underestimate their abilities as far as it relates to passing the NCLEX. So let me explain what that means. Some people are very, very smart in school and the concept comes to them very easily. So they take these chapter tests in school and they do a great job. And then they think, oh, if I'm so smart and I'm passing all these tests, I can take the NCLEX and I can pass it as well. So I'm not going to spend too much time studying, or I'm not going to put too much thought into it. On the other hand, some people have difficulties passing those chapter exams. They have to study and study and study and spend hours just putting so much work into it in order to pass their chapter exams. So they go into the state test with the same mentality. They think that they have to spend hours on end and sitting there just studying. The best way, in my opinion, to approach the NCLEX is to see it as a subject that you've never ever seen before. So taking a chapter exam is way different than taking the NCLEX, because the chapter exams are focused on chapters. So if you take a med-surg exam, it is focused on med-surg. If you take a pharmacology exam, it is focused on pharmacology. But when you take the state boards, it is everything you've ever learned in nursing school all in one test. So it's kind of like a big old final exam, which is actually what it is. So the best way to do that again is to take your time, get a study tool, whether it's UWorld or ATI or whatever there is out there. Get them, go from start till end and study. Don't overestimate the exam and don't underestimate it, because you are only going to set yourself up for failure. So look at the NCLEX as if it's something you've never ever done before. The fourth reasons why people are not successful in the state boards, and this is one of my favorite reasons, is they study from too many different sources. Let me explain what I mean by that as well. So sometimes when you graduate your nursing program, you might have a friend who used UWorld to pass the exam. You might have a friend who used ATI. You might have a friend who used a like a special class for passing the NCLEX. There are so many different information out there, and everybody tells you, oh, this is what helped me, this is what helped me, that is what helped me. And then you're overwhelmed and you don't know which one to choose, so you end up buying a whole bunch of stuff just to study from. The thing with that is you are going to confuse yourself. You are going to so confuse yourself. What you want to do is you want to find either 1, 2, or 3 at most to study from. There are a whole bunch of stuff that is going to be recommended to you, and you're also going to feel like you have to study from all those things. So you might even go back to your nursing school books and you might buy all these things or attend all these classes thinking that it's going to help you. Number one, you're going to waste a lot of your money. Number two, you're going to waste your time. Number three, you're just going to get so overwhelmed to the point where you're not going to know what to do. So for me, as I always tell you guys, what helped me pass the NCLEX was the ATI. I focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's how I was able to pass the NCLEX. Now, for example, if I had taken the NCLEX and didn't pass it on the first try, then I might have changed my study strategy and changed the tools that I use in order to pass the next time. But if you're doing this person's review class and you're attending that person's review class and you're paying this money and you're traveling here and there, it's too overwhelming and it's too much. So choose one thing or two things, at most three things that you can study from that is going to help you. That way, if you're not successful on the first try, you know what you've already used and you already have that information in your head. You can move on to new things, study from those things. You also have the information from the old stuff that you've already used, and that way there's a good chance you're going to pass the second time. And trust me, this is coming from someone who took the NCLEX twice. I took it once when I was an LPN. I passed on my first try. Took it once more when I became a BSN, and I also passed it on my first try. So this is coming from experience. The fifth most common reason why people don't pass the NCLEX is because they tell too many people. I always tell you guys on here, keep your dreams and goals to yourself until you accomplish them. Then you can share it with people, because there are people out there who are waiting to support you, but there are also people out there who are waiting for your downfall. And telling a lot of people, they might be good people or bad people, but it just puts a lot of pressure on you. When you tell people, oh, I'm gonna take my NCLEX on the 21st at 9 a.m. Now everybody's waiting for you to take your NCLEX, and they're waiting to see if you're going to be successful or unsuccessful. Now you have all this pressure and you're trying to impress everybody. The focus is not on you in trying to pass your NCLEX. Now it is on you trying to impress those people. That is too much pressure. Keep that to yourself. The date, the time, and everything, even if you have to keep it from your own husband. If you must, tell people that you're studying for your NCLEX, but don't tell them when you're going to take it. Because God forbid if you take the NCLEX and don't pass, now you have to worry about telling the whole world that you didn't pass. Can you imagine how much pressure that is? It's just not worth it. So keep that to yourself. When you take the test, if you pass, then tell everyone. If you don't pass, keep it to yourself. Study again until you pass, then tell everyone. The last but not least most common reason why people don't pass the NCLEX, which I think this one should be the number one reason, is you don't do your research on your schools. There are a lot of nursing schools out here, and they all are going to promise you silver and gold. It's up to you to do your research on those schools. I always tell you guys, you have to look up the school pass rate, you have to look up the NCLEX pass rate, you have to look at the graduation rate, you have to look at all of that stuff. God forbid if you go to a school, spend all this money and all this time, and then when you go to take the NCLEX, you don't pass. Why? Because the school is either not a good school, the school probably didn't teach you anything, because people refuse to do their research. And I know a lot of schools out here are expensive. I know this because I'm one of the people who went to one of the most expensive nursing schools. Sometimes it is worth going to an expensive school if you know that you're going to pass your state boards, because the main reason you go to nursing school is to be able to pass your state boards so that you can practice as a nurse and make the money. But if you go to a cheap and convenient school just because you don't want to spend too much money, what if you don't pass the NCLEX? What if you never pass the NCLEX? Now you're stuck with this heavy money that you have to pay back, and you've also wasted so much of your time and energy. So please do your research. Not all schools that are cheap are bad schools, but also not all schools that are cheap are good schools. Same thing with expensive schools. Not all expensive schools are good schools. Not all expensive schools are bad schools. So you just have to do your research. Ask around. Ask people on social media. I know I get 1,000 questions in my inbox all the time of people asking me, how was your school? And how was the pass rate? How was this? How was that? So do your research. Put a lot of time into doing your research. You will be thankful that you did it. I know it can be so embarrassing to not pass a test. It can be so overwhelming to study for a big test like the state boards. The emotions are just endless. Like, it's so much that goes on that people don't know about. But I just want to encourage you guys, if you haven't taken the state test before, I encourage you guys to follow these steps that I just listed. If you have taken it and weren't successful, I also encourage you to follow these steps and look for any other steps out there that are going to help you. Trust me, if you didn't pass the NCLEX the first time or the second time or even the third time, it is not the end of the world. I know tons of people who have taken the NCLEX and wasn't successful. I was fortunate to take it once and pass it, but that is not the case for everyone. It doesn't mean that I'm smarter than you, doesn't mean that I'm better than you. It just means that people process things differently. Some people have test anxiety. Some people are going through some stuff in their lives that is going to affect their ability to pass. So it is not the end of the world. You can still do it. I know people who took the NCLEX 3, 4, 5, even 6 times and are great nurses today. I'm telling you, it is not impossible. It is actually possible. So just keep your head up high. Give yourself some time to grieve, because this is a grieving process. Being unsuccessful on a test like this can do a lot to your mental. Give yourself some time to grieve. And this is the main reason why you shouldn't tell anybody when you go to take your test, because then you have to explain yourself to people and they want to know why you didn't pass, what questions you had. They just want to know everything. But if you keep everything to yourself, it's better and easier for you to go through the grieving process in order to get yourself prepared to test again. Anybody on here who has taken the NCLEX more than once will tell you it is very stressful, but it's not impossible. So you guys can do it. And I hope this video was able to touch or help somebody out there. That is always my goal with these videos. And I just love sharing these things with you guys. So if you guys have any comments, if you've taken the NCLEX and weren't successful, if you're comfortable, please leave a comment down below. If you've taken it once and were successful, or if you've taken it once or twice and finally you are successful, please leave your experiences and comments down below so we can all help each other out. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have a lot of exciting stuff and giveaways coming up for this channel, and I'm so excited about everything that is happening for us here on this channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, I encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can join the family, and also hit the bell notification button so you'll never miss another video from me again. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and please go ahead and share the video with all your friends and family so that they too can get this helpful, valuable information. Thank you guys so much for your love and support, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.